Ya estamos transmitiendo en vivo.
Perfecto. Ok, hola, buenos días a toda la gente. Lo, lo hago en español y después lo hago en inglés. Buenos días para aquellos que están en el hemisferio sur y buenas tardes para aquellos que están en el hemisferio norte. Bienvenidos a la primera sección del día de hoy, en lo que, en lo que sería la sección número 13 y 14, me parece, ¿no? De esta conferencia. En esta primera, ustedes están en el cuarto número 3, ¿verdad? Ah, mi nombre es William Calvo, soy profesor de la Universidad de Michigan, donde enseño estudios americanos, especialmente la comunidad latina en Estados Unidos. Okay, so hi everybody, good morning. My name is William Calvo. Welcome to another day of this fantastic conference. You are in room 3 for the section 13 and 14. We are transmitting online. Today, my name is William Calvase. I'm a faculty at the University of Michigan in the Department of American Culture, where I do research on migration. My main area of research is the Latino community in the United States. So today we have two panelists. I want to let you know that in in the program, we technically have four. Manuel Lopez Funes y Juan Antonio Roque Carcel will not be able to be with us today morning because of a situation that happened. So they have moved the presentation to the afternoon. At this moment, I'm not sure in what section they will be, but if you send me an email or something at wcalvo@umich.edu, I will be more than happy to answer and let you know. But so, which means that today we only have two presenters. Both of them are from Italy. Because of the nature of the research and the nature of the conference, we allow people to speak in any of these three languages, in Spanish, in Italian, or in English. So they both will present in Italian, which is not very different than Spanish, so they will be not very complicated, I would say, if they speak slow. Because we don't have the other two panelists, we will have a little more space. Marco Palmieri, who is our first presenter, he also told me that he need to move from one room to another, so he would do the presentation in his laptop, and then he will move for the second part via phone. Okay, I will say maybe we can do both presentations, and at the end of both presentations, we ask for questions. So maybe in that way is we prevent that somebody may take too much time and the other one may not take longer. Okay, so the first presenter is a good friend of mine, somebody that I admire a lot, that I had the chance to meet several times. His name is Marco Palmieri. He's a tenure-track researcher in general sociology and methodology at the Department of Communication and Social Research at the La Sapienza University of Rome. His research focuses on social love, the methodological study of attitudes and values, the evaluation of programs and interventions aimed at valorizing public goods in disadvantaged areas of the south of southern Italy, and the relationship between scientific expertise and other forms of experiential knowledge. The title of his presentation today is Social Love Between Action and Value. So please help me to welcome Dr. Palmieri. The floor is yours, Marco.
Okay, thank you, William. I share my screen.
Perfect. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So thank you. I am very happy to be here to show my a little part of research we conducted with TG12 with other friends and colleagues about social love conducted in Italy and around the world. Today I present my recent work on relationship between values and social love, which are two scientific objects that have always received my attention since I was a PhD in methodology of social sciences. So just let me give you two basic definition of my central concepts. Values are a system of structure, profound beliefs. Values are stable principles that guide our attitudes and behaviors. Values have an intermediate level of generality between personality and opinion. So values are beliefs about what is wrong and what is right, and deep lasting structure transmitted by cultural social environment since the childhood to the individuals. Social love is something extremely different. No? Is a action, is a practical action over a bonding action that people realized when they care for others. And the other can be a human agent, such fragile people, homeless, poor, or also non-human agents, like animal, plant kingdoms, entire planet Earth. So social love is directed towards the outgroup to give benefits to something, to someone, or even something in condition of need, and this action promotes the recognition of the other, or the unique of being an entity. So social love takes shape in people's daily lives. And my interest is in this in our more broadest research was to understand if if social love, which is a very practical action, can be influenced and connected by something which is not very practical. No, it's something that which is in our hearts, in our mind, in our opinions. So my hypothesis, taking starting from the basic values theory of Schwartz, which is very famous for scholars of values. My hypothesis is that the universalism and care, these two values, connected to the realm of self-transcendence and stimulation and self-direction, related to the realm of openness to change, can contribute to the plane of behavior of social love. Very briefly, self-transcendence means that that someone prioritizes the well-being of the other rather than individual benefit, and it's made of universalism and care. Universalism is when an actor refuses to treat the other in accordance with a general norm, covering all objects of that class. So the actor decides to treat the others in accordance with their standing in that relationships. The actor decides to treat the other in their relationship, independently of their of the other subsubility under the general norm. So universalism transcends any specific systems of norms and gives priority to the relationship in which the actors are involved. Care is support, no? Support for others, is emotional support, is practical support, and emphasizes the importance of having solidaristic human relationships. The second dimension is important for me, is open to changes, because it's quite likely that self-transcendence is related to social love, but I think that also openness to changes can be related to social love. Openness to change is a value dimension that gives centrality to novelty, challenging life, excitement, and is made of self-direction, which means independence in thinking and acting autonomously and with creativity, and also stimulation with the wish of engaging in new and diverse activities to explore uncharted possibilities. How research was conducted in 2023, yeah, and we made a telephone survey in Italy. We prepared a social love scale that I'm going to show you. We made a telephone survey to a sample of around 1,000 people, 1,100 people, and Italian interviewees, and we use non-probabilistic factorial sample design because we wanted to take control of very important variables, which according, in our opinion, was gender, age, and macro area geographic area, because for it depends by Italian needs. For example, in Italy there are very few youngs, so we need to control some variables. Otherwise, we couldn't have younger respondents. No, for example, in our survey. So I have computed one social love index. I used the Rush model, and I tried to respond to my hypothesis. No, hypothesis: the values of self-transcendence and openness to changes can have a positive influence of social love, and the values of conservation and self-enhancement have a negative influence on social love. This is the our scale. This is a scale made of two alternatives of responses, yes or not. So, have you helped someone, unknown people in condition of need in the past 6 months? So just this is an example, and the respondent could choose yes or not. In this case, you see the scale we used, and the final application of Rush model. Of course, I don't want to bore you with the principles of Rush model. Just two brief things to make you understand why I have applied to social love, because in my opinion is a methodological implication very related with the profile of the concept. Because social love is takes shape in daily life, okay? But not all behaviors have the same level of difficulty. So it's not same thing to say that I help someone in condition of need. No, if someone met on the road, on the street, or attending a peace demonstration. No, these are social love actions, but they have different level of difficulty to be acted. So in this case, the Rush model allows me to understand when a person says yes to an easier behavior, usually says yes to a more difficult behavior. On the contrary, if a respondent says no to a easier behavior, usually says not to a more difficult behavior. Just this, I don't want to. But this logic is transformed in the parameter difficulty. You see it on the seventh column, and the plus, where you see the plus, it means that that behavior is very difficult to uh, transpose in daily life. Okay. Well, this is the final distribution of the index. So you have around the distribution of people who have responded. No, you see the last column, the percentage of people have said yes. How many times? No, I said yes. I have done one of these social love actions, and but I think the more interesting part of my um, uh, job of my work is constructing social love, but of course constructing what I want to put in relationship, with the social love. And I realized the self-transcendence and openness to change index and the self-enhancement index. You see that to understand self-transcendence means that people think that it's very important to help people around, to protect the environment is very important thing, or the need to understand the point of view of others even when they disagree, they disagree with them. It's important to have a new idea, to be creative, to have to do many different things in life. No, so I call this index self-transcendence, openness to change. I have no time for all describe of indicators. Anyway, at the end, I have also an hedonism index, securitism and traditionalism index, and conformism index. So finally, of this work, I made a model with social love and 5 important values of taken from the Schwartz theory. And this is my main results. You see that self-transcendence, openness to change have a strong relationship with the social values, and this means that someone could be say the opposite. The social values promote self-transcendence and openness to change values. In this way, this is my hypothesis and the theory which I start from. And very interesting that the negative relationship between self-enhancement and social values, also the negative relationship between securitism, traditionalism, and social values, and social love. Sorry. So I think that if I have 2 minutes, William, or not, I have. Why or not? One minute.
Yeah, I think so. We have time because the other people are not presented. So go ahead.
Okay. So I think it's quite interesting that after these results, I have taken just the respondents of people who said that fraternity is the most important value compared to equality and freedom. Now, in the questionnaire, we put a question about the values of French Revolution. No? So asking, what's your, in your opinion, what's the most important value? No, freedom, equality, or fraternity?
Mm.
So just taking no, the people respondent who have chosen fraternity as the main value, we can see that the relationship we found before are even stronger.
Mm.
And self-transcendence opens to changes. The parameters increase, and self-enhancement and securitism and traditionalism also becomes elements which does not promote social love in the behaviors of social love. So I want to conclude my presentation and thank all your patience for to have heard me, and that the value of self-transcendence influence social love. So the values of openness to change influences social love. And finally, um, I found that these correlation are even more stronger when the analysis is conducted among the respondents who consider the fraternity the most important value. In my opinion, this happens because fraternity is a transcendence value,
Mhm.
not to be confused with brotherhood, which is an immanent value.
Mm.
Um, taking the and I finish my relationship with these words with the not my words but the words of Zamagni and Venturi, two
Mhm.
important Italian scholars. Fraternity is a word already present in the flag of French Revolution,
Mm.
and this is the complement and overcoming of solidarity.
Mhm.
Solidarity is the principle of social organization that allows unequals to become equal, and fraternity is the principle of social organization that helps equals to be different. So fraternity will enable people to people who are equal in dignity and fundamental rights to express their life plans differently, their charisma, their singularity, their unique future.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you very much. Gracias. Oh, uh, fantastic. We are going to leave the questions at the end of the section. Um, so the next presenter, thank you very much. The next presenter that we have today is Rosario Aprile. He's a postdoctoral researcher, also at the University of Bergamo. He completed his PhD in methodology at the Sapienza University of Rome. His research interests include the study of social love, with particular focus on expertise in the medical field and the role of experts during crisis periods. the title of his presentation is The Role of Trust in Shaping Social Love. So help me to welcome Rosario.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
William,
Uh-huh.
and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to have the chance to present part of the study that I've conducted with Professor Fabrizio Martire, and the research that I'm going to present is a focus, a part of the research that the Professor Marco Palmieri have already presented, and in particular, it's dedicated about the role, or I mean the possible role of trust in shaping social law. So my name is Rosario Aprile, and I'm a PhD research fellow from the University of Bergamo. So first of all, it's important. It's okay, the presentation. Okay, thank you. Then the ingredients of social law. And first of all, I want to talk about values, and because a central role of in shaping what is defined and what we understood as social law is played by values, and in particular, as said in the previous presentation, an important role is referred to the self-transcendence and openness to change values dimension. Referring in particular to the self-transcendence, so it's important to say that a lot of theoretical framework are the same of the previous chapter, but I think it's important to repeat to get more in deep on the special focus of this focus of the research about social law. So what I was saying about the self-transcendence, that is constitutes a general value dimension that prioritize the well-being and interest of the other. We have to define it as a generalized other over personal and individual goals. Whilst when we refer to openness to change, is refer when the individual willingness to engage in every new diverse activities, actions, experiences, and aim to explore uncharted possibilities. Focusing on self-transcendence, we can recognize two more specific value dimension inside the self-transcendence, and I'm talking about universalism and care. Universalism and people who identify with and prioritize it show a propensity for social justice, equality, peace, and it enhances the attention and dedication shown toward the collective and global good, and people who embrace it promote behaviors of social equality to reduce economic inequalities and safeguard, for example, of natural resources. While when we talk about care, we focus, it's a value that focuses on providing unconditional support to the others, and for people who identify with and prioritize it, it's important to assist other people, both emotionally and practically, and it implies the importance of cultivating supportive and solidaristic human bonds. But to going deeper in the main topic, the main question research of this study, we question ourselves the ingredients of social law. We can consider trust as an ingredient of that shape social law, and first of all, it's important to say that this is a recall because the relational dimension is central to social law, and for this reason, this centrality brings the concept of trust into play in this consideration. First of all, we have to say that social love and trust are not the same thing. In fact, trust cannot be understood as a type of action, but rather as a predisposition, as a condition as a set of conditions. And another important aspect in this initial consideration is that none of the four constitutive dimensions of social love presuppose trust, because if we consider that the relation of guided by social love was guided by trust, we can we could think about some calculated relationship, so not motivated by the real meaning of social love. So the research concept, how I said at the beginning of the presentation, is referred to the broader research that was conducted in Italy about social love. That was explained in the previous presentation, with a questionnaire characterized by close-ended questions included in 10 section, and in particular in this in this study about the trust that I'm talking about, we used index about individuals' propensity to perform social love, and we referred it with other aspects. And first of all, the research analysis began from the consideration of the level of trust in the sample that we were referring to, and for understand if the respondents trust to the others or not, we started analyzing the question that was included in the questionnaire and that you can read in the slide. That was, generally speaking, would you say that most people can be trusted, or that you can be too careful in dealing with others? And looking at the answers, we can see that 367 responded say that they trust most people, but the most important data, the most important information about this first part was that the majority of the sample, like 807, say that it's better to be very cautious in relationship with others. So we have a context of general untrust, where people don't show, where respondents don't show immediate trust to the generalized other. For this reason, we decided to go deeper in this kind of this kind of thinking, and to see the role of trust in this mechanism. In fact, to reach this cognitive goal, we a multiple linear regression model was applied with the index of propensity for social love action that was shown before was the dependent variable, and it was examined in relation to self-transcendence, openness to change, and generalized trust. As is shown in the table, we can see that both self-transcendence and trust and generalized trust play a role in shaping social love, but in a different way. In fact, the third part, continuing the analysis, the third steps included was characterized with trust used as discriminating factor to better distinguish whether and how the influence of the self-transcendence and openness to change varies in the performance of social love. Distinguish the two groups. That means between those who declared they trust generalized other, and from who did not. In the first table, you can in the first graph, in the first table, you can see there is the linear regression model considered only with the respondent who reported that they trust others. And here, in this case, in this context of a generalized trust, the self-transcendence contributes to development of loving behaviors, and but whose effect is mediated by an already positive predisposition toward others, because as I said, there is a general predisposition to entrusting the other. This is the difference between with the other groups. In fact, in the second table, we can see the linear regression model examined only with the respondent with low level of trust in others. And in fact, in a context with low levels of trust, the value dimension of self-transcendence appears to act to be as a bridge to cover the gap created by the distrust, serving in this way as we call it as a driving force for promoting social love behaviors towards individuals who does not trust to the generalized trust that we're talking about. Another aspect that we can see that show this relationship between the self-transcendence and the openness to change and the index of propensity for social love action is shown in this graph, and this refers specifically for the subgroup of respondents with a propensity to trust the other. As we can see, the line that has a moderate slope indicates that for those respondents, an increase in self-transcendence values is associated with a rise in social love behaviors, but the effect seems to be limited, as we can see on the spread of the data around the line, and suggesting that other factors may influence social love behaviors even when there is context of generalized trust. In the same way, we can see in the second graph the relationship, the same relationship between self-transcendence and openness to change, with the index of propensity of social love action, but in the subgroup of respondents who reported that it's better to be cautious in dealing with others. And in the same way as we interpreted the previous chapter, in this case, the line in this graph show another positive relationship between the two variables, but with a steeper slope compared to the previous graph. In fact, for individuals who report low trust, self-transcendence has, as we can say, is expected to have a stronger impact in promoting social love behavior. In fact, the steeper slope may indicate that in the context that are not characterized by evident trust atmosphere, the values of self-transcendence and openness to change play a more important or we can say a decisive role in encouraging people in acting in promoting social love behaviors. So concluding with final remarks, at the end, we can say that trust play a role in the relationship between self-transcendence and the loving behaviors. And in particular, we can see this aspect in the absence of trust, where self-transcendence activates itself as an essential research, like as a gasoline in this context, and it is precisely in a context without trust that social love is shown in its most authentic form, and it is in this context that should be studied, sought, in particular in this context without characterizing trust dimension. Thank you for your attention.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that both presentations are so interconnected in relationship of how do we do research about love and care that sometimes feels so ephemeral. difficult to grasp. One of the greatest contribution, I would say, that both of them does is to open up the possibilities of explore what kind of methods can be used to do this research, following a traditional interview, observation, and things. But I feel the field of study, in this case, care, empathy, love, it have always encountered the difficulty. How do you do research about that? So I would say that one of the great contributions is to see a methodology that is rigorous, that is easy for people to understand how the process had done, and we can do some of that correlationship. So thank you very much, Mario and Marco, for the presentation. Um, Hi, Marco. How you doing? Are you in the metro? Poor thing.
In the bus, yes.
Oh, in the bus. Hey, the bus of Rome. They sound fantastic. So for those who are looking, you can see a little bit of Rome by the screen. I want to open for question. I mean, for me, one of the first question is, how it has been the process of figure out a methodology to assess exactly what I say, something that it may be a little bit ephemeral. How do you, because at one point, something very interesting, Marco, in your presentation was, I say, it's not just about translation of the word, it's that the word have a completely different meaning in the context. Fraternity, it means this, solidarity, it means this. And it have different meanings because they have history, but also because they enact different engagement about people and relationship, including in the workplace. So my question for both of you, because both of you are very much in the same trajectory of a quantitative approach, how it has been for you guys to do research on love, that it has been so permeated for this kind of affect and emotions. How do you do that? Help us, because I think this is one of the great contributions that you do beyond just the amazing result, but also the process.
I try to respond to this very difficult question.
So I'm so sorry.
Yes, of course. As you well know, we work on social love we are trying to work on social love from a quantitative approach with in this case with primary data. We have constructed in Italy, but also with secondary data with the World Love Index. And what you say, your question is difficult to answer because it's a question that naturally must be responded when you use quantitative methods, especially when you study values, emotions, and feelings. And this is a challenge. And in this case, I used a famous and very affordable scale of Schwartz, who is a very famous scholar about values, and yeah, of course, as you know, I just don't work with the quantitative methods. I know very well the limitations of quantitative methods, and I know very well also the qualities of qualitative methods. And in this case, sometimes we need to make, sorry, we need to make a choice. Okay, if you want to think about a phenomenon from an aggregative point of view, if you want to establish also not just meanings, not only meanings, but also the intensity and the strength of these relationships, we must be ready to lose something in deepness and articulation of meanings. How did we challenge it in this work? I think we have done it with a great job. We do also always before with a research group. I have now worked alone. We also work in in group with people having qualitative and quantitative skills on research. This is only my possible question to your difficult answer to your difficult question.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think so. It's fantastic. Aprile, you wanna add?
I don't know if I can add something more of what the Professor Marco Palmieri going in Rome said, but it was for me and for my not so long research experience, in particular in the topic of social love, when I was introduced in this topic. Also from my point of view, was a really challenging topic to study with this perspective. But as said at the final of his answers, it was so important for me, from my point of view, the cooperation with the others. So for me, it was really challenging and interesting to know that with the co-working, with the cooperation, it's possible also to apply it, to study with a quantitative point of observation, some topics like that we call emotions, love. So for me was really interesting, and was elaborating this strategy, was elaborating with the confrontation with the others, with my professors. So it was a process to try understand which strategy used to study these complex and particular and multidimensional concept, like is the social law.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry that we need to finish here because we need to move to the next section. But I appreciate so much all the work that you guys doing. It is fantastic. It's really open possibility with dialogue with other fields and with other people who are doing research. So thank you very much. As you say, Rosario, I know that it's not easy to do research in this case about love, empathy, care, but it's so, so important. So thank you very much. Marco, have a wonderful trip. Be safe. Look where you're walking. And Rosario, cannot wait to see you both at Zoom, okay? Take care and bye-bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, William. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody who is following us in YouTube. We are now transition to a different panel, so we're finishing this presentation. Please continue watching all the different sections. Thank you very much. Helen.
Acá estoy.
Ok, pienso que ya podemos cerrar la del YouTube.
Perfecto.
Ajá.
Cortamos la transmisión.
Ajá.